And now it's my pleasure to introduce the one and only Maritza Costa, Student Council President and Student Advisor to the School Board, with the Senior Class Address.
Good evening. Those who know me well know I have a terrible memory. I forget where I left my keys, I forget what I had for breakfast, but there's one moment from my childhood that I remember vividly. It was the day after my parents told me we were leaving the Netherlands to move to Miami. I was in 3rd grade. Recess had just started when my teacher pulled me aside. He knelt down and gently said, "I heard you're moving to the United States." I nodded yes, doing everything I could to hold back the tears. I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to start over. I didn't know what the future would hold. But I know now. That moment, that quiet heartbreak in a schoolyard thousands of miles away, was the beginning of everything. The beginning of sacrifice, of courage, of chasing a dream that my parents had dared to believe in long before I understood it. And now I stand here on this stage in this cap and gown, not just as a graduate, but as living proof of that decision. And I know I'm not the only one, because this class is full of students who have their own stories of leaving, of crossing borders, of learning a new language, of starting over again and again and again. I didn't choose Hialeah Miami Lakes because it was the easy choice. I chose it because I saw what others didn't: potential, possibility, purpose. People told me I was wasting my talents, that there were better schools, that I disappear here. One principal from a school which will not be named even called me and told me, "What's better, an A or a B school?" "An A school," I said. He said, "Then there's your answer," and hung up. But he was wrong. You don't measure a school by the letter next to its name. You measure it by the people it produces. And this school, it produces some of the most resilient and hardworking people I know. Where else do you find a student like Juan, an immigrant from Honduras who helps lead our National Honor Society by day, and instead of going home after school, he goes to a body shop, working as a mechanic to help his family make ends meet? That's the American dream. Where else do you find a student like Donald, who served as our school's mascot, played football, and is now heading off to the Army to defend the promise of America? Where else do you find a student like Roberto or Seidel, coming from Cuba just a few short years ago and now heading off to Harvard and Duke University? Where else do you see an entire school show up for a student going through one of the hardest moments in his life? That basketball game we hosted last month was the biggest event we've ever had in our 4 years at HML. Because at HML, when one of us falls, all of us stand. That's who we are. We are the heartbeat of the immigrant dream. We are the sons and daughters of Venezuela, Mexico, Nicaragua, Haiti, Jamaica, Honduras, Puerto Rican, the Dominican Republic, and Cuba. We are Black excellence, Caribbean courage, and Latin resilience. We are students who speak Spanglish in the hallway and dream of a better tomorrow. We are the children of field workers, teachers, mechanics, nurses, undocumented laborers, and silent heroes. And somehow, despite everything, we made it. Most importantly, though, we didn't just make it, we excelled. We proved to the world that greatness doesn't require privilege, only purpose. Our Model United Nations team has been ranked #1 in Miami-Dade County for 4 years straight. Our theater department puts on unforgettable performances year after year. Our esports team is bringing home awards and redefining what it means to compete. Our volleyball team, consistently dominating and making it to district finals. Our speech and debate team is representing HML at the national level, using their voices to advocate, to persuade, and to lead. Our Science National Honor Society continues to sweep awards across the district. And our award-winning band and chorus, they don't just play music, they produce artists, musicians whose talents will echo into college and beyond. We even ignited We even ignited a fire that made people believe in HML again. A state-of-the-art courtroom being unveiled in just 3 days, a once-forgotten planetarium being restored this summer, a student-run food pantry launching to serve our own community, and an alumni association created to bridge our past to our future. So when the haters questioned what HML could become, we didn't just answer with words, we answered with excellence, with trophies, with headlines, with standing ovations, and a community that chose to rise together. But before I go on, I want to speak from the heart to my family and to yours. Mami, papi, gracias por dejarlo todo. Gracias por confiar en un sueño que ustedes nunca vivieron, pero aún sí sembraron para mí. Y a todos los padres, madres, abuelos, abuelas, gracias. Este momento también les pertenece a ustedes. Class of 2025, look at your families. The people who stood in the shadows so that we could stand in the spotlight, who prayed for us when we didn't know how to ask for help, who worked double shifts so that we could study, eat, and dream. This diploma, it's not just a paper, it's a promise that your sacrifices were not in vain. And let's take a moment to thank the adults on this campus who challenged us, guided us, and yes, kept us in check every step of the way. Like Ms. Cruz, who reminded us almost daily that our lack of planning was not her emergency. Or Ms. Machado, who whenever she caught a student sitting on top of the desk, she would say, "Do you have a diploma or a degree? If not, then sit in a chair." So guess what I'm doing next week when I'm gonna go pick up my diploma? I'm sitting on every desk in that classroom. And of course, Mr. Armenteros, who could spot a missing ID from across the courtyard like it was a sixth sense. And I hope you guys are wearing yours under those gowns because I hear he's waiting at the gate. But here's the truth. They weren't just enforcing rules, they were building us. They were preparing us for a world outside because the world outside is not always kind. We've already survived a global pandemic and watch on through our screens as wars fight themselves out across the world. As you reflect what you want your life to be, I ask you to lead with purpose. Our country and world need us no more now than ever before. Be the change you want to see. Broker peace, fight for what's right, and never, never remain silent in the face of injustice. We are not the future, we are the now. So whether you're heading off to college, to the workforce, to the military, or you're still figuring it out, know this, you are enough. And to the student who barely passed, to the student who worked every night to support their siblings, to the student who crossed the border with nothing but hope in their backpack, this speech is for you. You made it, and nobody can ever take that from you. To the world, if you're looking for brilliance, don't just look at test scores. If you're looking for strength, don't just look for fancy resumes. And if you're looking for the future, look right here. Look at us. Because from the corners you forgot, a generation has risen. A generation born of struggle but built for greatness. A generation who's not waiting for permission. We're already on our way. And to those who ever doubted us, who looked at our school and saw less, who questioned our worth or our future, let this moment echo louder than any A grade could ever. Let them remember that from this place, from this campus, from this class, we are HML. Thank you. Thank you.